This is a 2005 Cybernet ZPC-9000 personal computer. It's a machine whose design form factor harkens back to the glory days of home computing, back when computers didn't necessarily have to be a box with a separate keyboard, but instead be both the computer and the keyboard all in one neat little package. According to Cybernet, though, it isn't for nostalgic reasons that their machines are all-in-one computers, but instead to target people in businesses like banks, hospitals, and retail that don't have a lot of space to park a regular computer, and instead want something small enough to be unobtrusive but still highly useful and compatible. I have to admit it does this really well. These computers are surprisingly well built and pretty powerful for the size. When I bought my first ZPC computer, I fully expected it to be a sluggish oddity that I would use once or twice, but would ultimately end up throwing in storage with the other interesting but useless machines I have. That was the ZPC GX31 though, and this is the slightly older and slower ZPC-9000, which uses a completely different motherboard, but uses the same exact case, so externally they're pretty much identical aside from the small badge denoting the model. All ZPC computer keyboards use custom motherboards though, which can make it a pain to get replacements when yours blows up, as my GX31 did recently. Depending on the requirements of the original owner, your model may vary from what my machine has, but the same base motherboard specs will be the same. The motherboard is based on the Intel 865GV chipset and has a socket 478 CPU of some sort, the largest available being a Pentium 4 of the 3.4 GHz variety. It has a max RAM capacity of 2 GB and uses integrated Realtek AC97 sound and Ethernet. It also uses the Intel 865G integrated graphics chipset, which is plenty good enough to run your late 90s and early 2000s games. Also integrated right into the motherboard is your power input and whatever circuitry it needs to handle that. It uses a 19-volt external PSU of the 4-pin variety, exactly like Alienware or Toshiba laptops. The computer itself is rated at 19 volts or 20 volts, but just to be safe I would stick to a 19-volt power supply. Inside the case and connected by ribbon cables are circuits that control the power switch, LEDs, and internal speakers, which by the way also respond to the associated keyboard keys like a Mac or a laptop. My personal model here came with a 2.54 GHz Celeron and 1 GB of RAM, which is not amazing, but it's still plenty powerful enough to run XP and to do light gaming. This is mainly designed to be a business machine, and I imagine if you tried to do serious gaming on a computer this small, it would overheat fairly quickly, especially if you'd upgrade the CPU to a Pentium 4, since they run hot even without a large load. Overall, I like these ZPC computers a lot, and this ZPC-9000 is definitely no different. I highly recommend picking one up if you get the chance, or if you have an itch for a computer that is reminiscent of the Commodore 64. I do have 3 real complaints about this system though before I wrap this up. The first being the keyboard. I am in no way a fan of laptop scissor switch keyboards. They're just awkward to use, and in general I don't like them on anything. If this thing had a full height keyboard that was even just a boring rubber dome like the earlier machines, it would be near perfect. My second complaint is the trackpad. I realized that they were trying to make it totally all-in-one, but it's annoying, and I hate them on laptops and I hate them on these. Fortunately though, it can be disabled in BIOS, so that's something. If you go on their site and look at their modern ZPC computers, you'll notice that the trackpad is gone on those models, so apparently someone there agrees with me. Thirdly, the power supply. Why does it have to be such a weird plug? Couldn't it be a simple barrel type plug, just like everything else? If they had done that, then life as a Cybernet computer user would be a heck of a lot easier, since if you lose the PSU or it goes dead, you are pretty much screwed. These things aside though, it is a really nice machine, and I can't wait to get my hands on one of the modern i5 ZPC computers. They just look really cool. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and if you did, be sure to like and subscribe or leave a comment letting me know. Suggestions will definitely get read though, so post those too.